and welcome to my humble abode that I like to call the Mr. Warren Hayes Show. I am Mr. Warren Hayes, and this is the SmackDown Live recap / review show. I don't know what to call them anymore. Are they recaps? Yes. Are they reviews? Kinda. But it like recap always comes across as a bit like wishy-washy. It's not exactly. It's like, oh yeah, let's just discuss it. But then I give some opinions. Then it's not as if I'm an actual wrestler. I mean, you can barely tell I'm not because of the size of these guns. Check this out. Look at that. Ooh. Kind of makes you wonder. You're like, wow, Warren, you've been working out? The answer is no, man. This is genetics. Glad you're all here. Thank you very much for tuning in. Whether you're tuning in off of you finding this video completely off the cuff on the internet, or if you found me at my YouTube channel, which is at Mr. Warren Hayes, tinyurl.com/Mr. Warren Hayes, I appreciate it. And it seems to me I just did a white balance of my video feed here. It's kind of strange. Hang on a second. Bear with me here, folks, for a second. I'm going to adjust the white balance. Everything seems really bright. Wouldn't you agree? Don't you concur? So we'll just configure the video here. But in the meantime, I can talk to you about stuff that will be coming up a little later on this week. Because again, your boy Warren has some stuff piled up, which is pretty interesting. On Wednesday, I will be doing, as I usually do on every Wednesday, we'll be heading out to the vast reaches of FightfulSelect.com to do my weekly 205 Live NXT Mae Young Classic review. I do that every Wednesday for FightfulSelect.com. Hark, hark, do I heareth individuals saying, oh, but what is thine FightfulSelect.com? Well, gentle traveler, allow me to regale you with a tale. FightfulSelect.com is the... I'm abandoning the semi-Renaissance, medieval accent here. I'm moving on from that. FightfulSelect.com is the premium service of Fightful.com. Premier news source for all your combat sports news and scoops and exclusives. Pro wrestling, MMA, boxing, you can find it all there. You can even go to FightfulWrestling.com. You got all your wrestling stuff right there. Now, what's really cool on top of all of that is that you can subscribe to Fightful Select. And on Fightful Select, you basically get a whole bunch of extra content, stuff that you as a professional wrestling fan who likes to hear people talk and discuss and create content for pro wrestling, you want more, so we give you more at FightfulSelect.com. You not only get my stuff, you get a whole bunch of other members-only podcasts. You get Sean Ross Sapp, who does the Weekender podcast, covers all non-WWE programming, such as Impact Wrestling, Lucha Underground, Ring of Honor, New Japan Pro Wrestling. He also covers these extra web shows, such as Being the Elite and 12 Pounds of Gold. He talks about the news, big news that happened during the week, injury reports, so on and so forth. He does that every week. He does Q&A sessions every 2 weeks. He does dark match commentaries. He pulls out a match out of nowhere that appeared on a dark match and adds his own commentary on it. You get some exclusives. You get some exclusive. You get some sneak peeks. You get some advanced previews of some features going up on Fightful.com. You also get, don't forget, the extraordinarily amazing retro pay-per-view reviews. Why are they so extraordinary? Well, that's because I'm involved in those too. I do those along with Sean Ross Sapp. Actually, he does them, and I sort of tag along. That's basically what I do. No, but they're a lot of fun. And we're going to be taping 2 of them coming up in a week or so. I have got to research these pay-per-views. Which ones are we doing? Well, I'm not telling. It's a surprise. It is a surprise, and but eventually you will get to find out. And if you want to take a look at all the goody good stuff that Fightful Select has to offer, there are free previews of the service, and all you have to do is head on over to the Fightful to Fightful's YouTube page, Fightful's YouTube page, and there's a playlist with all sorts of great stuff on there. There's some free stuff from me as well from when I did my G1 coverage this past summer. A recent edition of the 205 Live NXT Mae Young Classic show is there as well, so go check it out. It's good, and you can subscribe to FightfulSelect.com for as low as $5 a month. Try to put that in perspective. Enter that into your mind, brain, into your cervical thing, and try to process that. How little you can actually get with $5 in a month, and then go to FightfulSelect.com and see everything that Fightful gives you for $5 a month. Of course, there's upper tiers as well where you can get t-shirts, more exclusives, whole bunch of great stuff. Go check it out. FightfulSelect.com. Hey, you know what? I've actually started, maybe some of you don't know this, don't realize it because it's, I'm very sneaky. I'm very subtle. I'm a sneaky, subtle kind of guy. I'm actually streaming this live, but in private, in an unlisted area of YouTube. Because I've had some accidents recently with videos being corrupted after I've recorded them, and it sort of pissed me off. I actually had a recording done with my good pal Chris Spiezak of the Chris Spies and the Benchmark Show, who had come on the show to do some predictions for Super Showdown, and the file got corrupted, and I was really pissed because I wanted Chris to be on the show. Chris is a great guy, and I was really happy that he was able to sneak in some time for me. We'll do that again, but the point is that I've started streaming these live right onto YouTube. So my plan from now on is just to release these as soon as they're done. So I'm sort of thinking in the back of my head is, well, maybe I could actually stream these live, like live where people can come and join in and chit chat. If anyone would be interested in that, feel free to let me know. Leave a comment in the comment section, or come find me on Twitter at Mr. Warren Hayes, which is always the safest place to find me because I hang around there quite a bit. Let's talk about it's not time to talk about SmackDown Live just yet. It is time to talk about bold predictions. Bold predictions. Every day that there is a main roster show, I go on Twitter, whether it be Raw, whether it be SmackDown Live, I head on over there and I tell folks, give me your boldest predictions for the show tonight. No limp noodle predictions. None of these. I think Charlotte and Becky are gonna fight, and I think Becky's gonna retain. Boo! Those are for another show. For other shows, boring programs, not exciting, thrilling, eyeball popping shows like the Mr. Warren Hayes show. No, only the boldest predictions will do, and I pick some of the boldest, and I run them through here with you all as a bit of a let's get us in the mood kind of thing, like an appetizer, like a delicious appetizer before the main course. Go through these bold predictions. Let's take a look here at what Twitter has bestowed upon our grateful crowns tonight. Jacob Wright had a bold prediction. He said his bold prediction was Paige enters herself in the World Cup tournament. That is very bold. Bold because on the first part, of course, Paige is retired. She has a neck injury. She can't actually wrestle, but I was thinking that it would actually be really, really interesting if she did pull it off, or she did something a la Baron Corbin. My monitor. That's better. My monitoring was a little off. My video, my white balance was screwed up. My monitoring was a little off. Don't I prepare before I do this show? Don't I get, or do I just jump in? It's like, hey, let's just see what happens. What am I going to do? It's all right. Everything's fine now, though. But yeah, no, I thought this was a very bold prediction. Very, very bold, and I appreciate it. Good, bold prediction. Next, we have Jason Broadwell, who has contributed before, if I'm not mistaken. Jason says, Melina interferes and becomes SmackDown Women's Champion. That is bold because it is something that none of us want. I may be doing a little bit of projecting here. When I say none of us, I mean mostly me. Something tells me I'm not alone. There might be some other people who aren't quite as enchanted at the idea of having Melina back in wrestling, but bold prediction. Here's another one from Ramboa Wrestling, who says The Rock is going to officially announce his retirement from pro wrestling, which is going to cause AJ Styles to confront him and ask if he has one more match inside him. That, folks, is not only a bold prediction, but wowzers, that would be fantastic. And when you think about it, entirely bookable. Because The Rock does have one more good match in him. I mean, if they're trotting out Taker, right? Taker doesn't have any. He barely has a match left in him. I may be exaggerating a little. I'm not a fan of current day Taker right now. It's not working for me. Yeah, I think that our boy here, Ramboa Wrestling, has an excellent point. I think he has something good here. And I'm just going to lower the tweets a bit. I find they're high. See, this is the worst produced show on the internet right here. This is it. People giving wrestling impressions from their kitchen have a better production value than I do tonight. God damn it. Mark Nielsen, save us. Mark, give us a bold prediction that will save us all. They announced the end of SmackDown to focus on fixing Raw. That would break my heart. Very bold prediction, but also a very, very sad one. Not one that I want to think about. Amy, hello, Amy. Kenny Omega was teased with a promise for a singles match with AJ Styles for SmackDown 1000. It's Kenny Omega and AJ Styles. Who will reign as Bullet Club champion? Who will prove that they are the best in the world and that they have indeed changed the world? Man, talk about some beautiful wishful thinking, though. Amy's good at that. Thank you, Amy. It makes us dream, makes us aspire for bigger things, for greater things. But yeah, it kind of feels like this might not happen, at least not yet. And finally, my pal Dennis over at Jaded Noise Media and the Outside Connecticut podcast says, R-Truth and Carmella spend 15 minutes at 7-Eleven picking out snacks for SmackDown. Truth is confused and thinks they are at Wendy's and keeps asking for a Baconator. Carmella orders a big bite. Very bold prediction, especially when you consider that neither of them were on the show tonight, which was a bit of a shame. I've started getting used to seeing R-Truth on SmackDown, but that's fine. What's a big bite at Wendy's, though? Where I live about, I'm going to tell you a quick story here. I live about 2.5 hours out of a 2.5 hour drive out of Montreal, right? Montreal, Quebec, Canada. I'm pretty sure it's better for me to tell you where I'm situated in regards to a major metropolitan city that at least you've heard about, than opposed to the name of my town, where you're like, what? So going into Montreal years ago, you go down this stretch of highway. It's a straight drive, and you go through a town. And in this town, there used to be a Wendys. Now, I would stop at the Wendys for two reasons. I'd get a Frosty, which I thought were fantastic milkshakes. Fantastic. I got a Frosty and their chili, which I thought was really, really good. And there still are no fast food joints in my hamlet that carry any chili. And so my experience with Wendy's has always been limited to that, because I always thought that the idea of having a square patty was weird. Like, to me, a square patty, it really feels like it comes off an assembly line where you have like this big machine just cutting through the meat, making very square cubes, as opposed to the circle where, you sort of, it's more natural. You take your meat and I know that even the round patties that you get at McDonald's or Burger King or wherever else, or A&W, the prince of the prince of fast food. I just sort of lost my train of thought. I was imagining teen burgers in my mind. But the point is that I never mustered up the courage to actually eat a Wendy's burger. I would always eat the chilies. I'd have the chili. I'd have the Frosty, but never a burger. And now the Wendy's is closed in that town. Well, it's been closed for years now. So I never got to actually go ahead and eat it, which is a shame. I always felt bad about. Well, now I feel bad about never indulging in a burger, a Wendy's burger. But what can you do? I missed my opportunity. The window of opportunity is now closed, and that's on me. And I don't know if any other Wendy's open in the province of Quebec. I really don't. I don't even think there's another one in Montreal. I don't know. All right. That was my story. And now we're going to talk about other kinds of stories, wrestling stories. We're going to talk about SmackDown Live. Hey, but okay, let's start this one right off the bat. Let's go. Woo, woo. When was Big Show traded to SmackDown? When did this happen? When has he become a member of the SmackDown roster? Is he like Kane now? Like Brie Bella? You can just pop to any show that they like. It kind of devalues John Cena's very special, free agent status. John, I think you need to properly renegotiate your contract, because you're not quite as special anymore, not quite as unique, John. If they're getting Big Show to move around whatever show they want. But to be perfectly honest, it kind of bugs me, because you have split brands or you don't. And I will remember when they redid the brand split and Vince McMahon said, the brands are going to compete with each other for ratings, for pay-per-view buys, for merch, and so on and so forth. I remember that. It's still in here. If they're sharing members of their roster, it doesn't matter anymore. I'm getting worked up for nothing. The show starts, and boy does it start. SmackDown Live women's title. Becky Lynch, El Champion, versus Charlotte Flair, El Challenger. And I don't speak Spanish. If you couldn't tell. Is my hat on now? I'm very distracted tonight. Okay, here's the thing. I am all for every SmackDown to start off like this. Because here's what was really cool. Now, this is what I really liked about Raw, is that I felt that they were trying out new things. I felt that they were giving, they were trying out stuff, and it was pretty successful overall. And even if it was just a one-time thing, even if it's just like giving the Shield a different feel when they're doing their promos with the camera work, at least they're trying stuff. They're adding some flavor to the show, and I'm all for that. Now this is what usually happens. Okay, I'll tell here's a little slice of life into the exciting, thrilling world of Warren Hayes. When SmackDown begins, or at least about 10 minutes in, I switch the channel over to Sportsnet 360 here in Canada, and I go, and I get my computer together, and I open up a Google Sheet to take some notes, and I go get a drink, and I'm doing this all within 10 minutes. I might go to the bathroom, I might check on my daughter, Lil Hayes, make sure she's doing okay. Is she doing her homework? Is everything all right? And then I come over, and I usually sit down, and then, I'm getting myself comfy. Maybe I'll pet the dog, and then I'll hear SmackDown starting, and then and then I'm like, well, I still have some time because they're going to run through, the first few matches of the night. Then there's going to be an introduction for someone to come cut a promo. So I have, maybe 2 or 3 minutes extra. So I'm in no rush to go sit in front of the TV. But tonight, man, I had to be there. I was like, wait a minute. They're already in the ring? And I just rushed to the couch and I sat down and whoa. And I liked it. I liked the fact that there wasn't any nonsense, wasn't anything stretched out. It's just, the girls are there. They're in the ring. I really, really like that. And I hope they do it again, because it starts you off. It's like, look, this to me is how you instill the fact that, look, you have to watch from the start, because if you don't, you're going to miss something. It's just that simple. You tune in for the action, you tune in for wrestling. If they start with wrestling, you'll be like, wow, okay, you have my undivided attention now. I liked it. They added a stipulation to this match where if Becky Lynch is disqualified, she will lose her title. This is a callback to their match that they had at Superb Showdown over in Australia. I don't know if you've heard about it. And it just starts like that. They ring the bell. There we go. Test of strength to begin. Charlotte tries to get the figure 8 early on, but Becky's not having any of it. Au contraire, mon frere, she gets the upper hand, starts striking. Charlotte battles back with a quick succession of covers. Lots of back and forth offense. Charlotte tries to slam Becky, but she kicks out of it. Charlotte fights back again. Look, they're poised as equals in this match. I really enjoyed how this match was built, because there was a lot of back and forth, and you don't have a tendency to see that much back and forth action in WWE, where at some point, the heel is going to have an extended period of offense. Face is going to battle back. Maybe the heel gets the upper hand again for another extended piece of offense. And then, that's usually it. Here, both of them were really poised as equals, and there was a lot of back and forth. Becky gets a hammerlock in which she transitions into a bridge. That was really nice. Was really cool. But then on the opposite side of the spectrum, Charlotte tries for a Boston Crab. Becky blocks it, so instead she tries to catapult Becky into the turnbuckle, and that just did not look good. That was bad. That was not pretty. In fact, the whole... I don't know. Let's go through... I'll just go through a few of the highlights again. At this stage... At this stage, the match feels like Charlotte and Becky are a step behind each other. They're not quite gelling. It's not quite coming together. It's a little slow. It could be much, much more interesting than this. But for now, they're doing their best. Bless their hearts. They're doing their best. Top rope shenanigans finish with Becky tossing Charlotte off the top rope. Goes for a cover, only gets 2. She does a exploder. Another cover for 2. Charlotte battles back with some knee crushes. Delivers about 10 chops in succession to Becky, which was really cool. She hits a back suplex. Charlotte goes up to the ropes again, and Becky once again drags her off. Sends her down to the mat. Becky goes up. This time splashes, but Charlotte sidesteps. Does a roll up, but only gets 2. Becky hits an enziguri, and she goes back up to the ropes again. But Charlotte crotches her, if you can actually, crotch a lady. But I mean, not that it probably hurts, but maybe not as bad as the dude. But anyway, Becky is up on is on the top rope, she rolls off the top rope to get Charlotte into a disarmer attempt, which is really, really nice. Charlotte deadlifts Becky and covers her, who kicks out at 2.9. That was razor thin. That was some Shinsuke Nakamura 2.9. Back from commercial, Charlotte is eating turnbuckle. Becky goes out of the ring, grabs her belt, and she bolts. And I still think it's stupid and out of character to do that. Sean and I, we talked about this on our Super Showdown review that we did on Fightful.com after the show on Saturday. That was just dumb. That was just plain old-fashioned dumb. Because it doesn't feel like it's in Becky Lynch's character. It doesn't. And I feel like it's ham-fisting the fact, hey, remember, guys, Becky Lynch is a heel. She does heel things. You're not supposed to like these. She wants to keep you guys from having a fun time at the Fun Time show. I don't like it. I don't care for it. So there's a big exploder on the floor on the outside. Charlotte, before that, goes up for a moonsault, lands on her feet, but Becky's not there. Exploder on the floor. Becky goes back in the ring. The count is going down. Charlotte beats the 10 count. Then Becky goes out after her. Charlotte then gets Becky into a suplex on the floor. Natural selection back in the ring, and Becky rolls out of the ring before she can get pinned, and Charlotte is mad. They start fighting on the outside, which leads to a double count out. So the match is done, and it all comes to a screeching halt when Charlotte spears Becky right through the LED wall, which I thought was really neat. I thought that was a lot of fun because that's what they need to do. They need to give this feud a little jolt, a little kick in the pants, and I'm glad that they let the ladies do this kind of stuff that usually the guys would do, like spear or slam or throw each other into the video walls. I'm glad that they let this happen here. Right now, let's be completely frank, objective. Let's look at this through our intelligent boys and girls glasses. Charlotte and Becky is the best feud, is the best thing in the entire women's division. Both brands mesh together. There's nothing better right now. So they have to be giving them these special things to do to make it compelling. I mean, it's so good what they're doing right now. And it's cool that they're giving them all this space to work with as well. So I'm all for it. This was good. But the match was very uneven. Very, very uneven. I thought we were building towards something towards the end. The story was really, really interesting. That obviously they both have their number. I'm excited to see how this goes because, the match was made later on in the evening with Paige, who made the match for Evolution a last woman standing match, which I hope lasts more than 12 minutes. That's the thing, right? Is, last man standing matches, they kind of have to have time to grow. So I'm hoping that this will be really good. So this is the third match that I'm really excited for on Evolution. The two others being Shayna Baszler and Kairi Sane, the rematch for the NXT Women's title. And I'm really excited for the Mae Young Classic Finals. And if you can come and listen to me talk about the Mae Young Classic every Wednesday evening on FightfulSelect.com, all you have to do is sign up, become a subscriber for as low as $5. And you can come and listen to me talk about ladies punching each other and kicking. Jeff Hardy versus Samoa Joe is a qualifier for the WWE World Cup, which will be taking place in Saudi Arabia. There's news coming out that there's, and I'm going to wait till my most trusted news sources start really compiling the news and talking about it, but there's rumors coming around that things are not all quite well with the relationship between the Saudis and WWE, and that the downgrade to the arena is just a part of the problems that they might be encountering. Anyway, well, let's see how this develops. But I do believe this might be the last time WWE heads out to Saudi Arabia. I'd be okay with that. Joe's leg is taped up because of his match with AJ Styles at Super Showdown. The commentary is selling it, telling that during the match, Joe said, "Oh, something popped." So he's in pain already. He's at a disadvantage, and as the bell rings, Samoan Joseph goes right after Hardy. Hardy starts drop kicking Joe's hurt leg, and he rolls out. Hardy will work the leg for most of this match here. Joe hits a senton on Hardy, covers, only gets 2. Jeff battles back after being grounded for a while, inverted atomic drop into his leg drop to the groin. Joe tosses Hardy to the outside, and they battle around the ring for a while. Jeff keeps going after Joe's leg, throwing him into the steps. Back in the ring, Joe strikes back, but he can't get to his feet, and the ref ends the match, awarding it to Hardy. Now, I do believe the term that one uses for this type of match, for this type of finish, I think it's bullshit. Oh man, I am so disappointed. I am really disappointed, and I don't know what they're doing with Samoa Joe. I've talked about this many times before. I'm not going to get into it too deeply, but I really thought that Samoa Joe was going to win the title, the WWE title at Super Showdown. I thought that it was time for him to win a big match because he is Samoa Choke. He loses all of his big matches regardless. And at some point, his credibility is going to start taking a hit because even though he comes in and he says, I'm going to beat you, I'm going to crush you, I'm going to put the Coquina clutch on you. Regardless of what he says, if he doesn't win the matches, then it's just farts in the wind. Is that the expression? I was going to say candles in the wind, but that's not it. That's that Elton John song that he wrote for Marilyn Monroe. Seems to me you live your life like a candle in the wind. When the rain set in, would have liked to have known you, but I was just a kid. Your candle burned out long before your legend ever did. So it doesn't really apply to Samoa Joe because his legend is still very, very present and building. But man, if they don't take care, someone on Twitter tonight, because I was talking about this on Twitter, I had mentioned how I was kind of disappointed in how they were dealing with them. And someone said, "Oh, they're turning him into the next Bray Wyatt." And I was like, "Oh no. And it sucked because I like Bray Wyatt so much as just as much as I'm a fan of Samoa Joe. So I'm like, okay, I'm a curse. Basically, I'm a curse. Pro wrestlers, you better hope I'm not a fan of yours. Otherwise, your career is going to go sideways. It'll be interesting to see what they do with Joe at this point. I don't know. Next, we have the Miz TV segment. Miz is in the ring, and he says, his guests are AJ Styles and Daniel Bryan. He says, look, I'm going to be professional. I'm going to set, whatever bad blood I have, I'm going to set it aside. I'm going to be a pro here. I'm going to commentate and spectate like a pro, essentially. So he invites AJ first to the ring, and he sits down, and Miz says, with everything that happened over the next few days, how's the family? AJ takes umbrage to this, but Miz is like, whoa, dude, I'm a dad too. I was legitimately concerned, just asking you how you're doing. I know you've been through a lot with all this psychological warfare, but you're about to fight someone who doesn't delve in psychological warfare, and that's your next opponent. You're going to be fighting him, and it's boring old Daniel Bryan, who comes out and joins everyone in the ring. This was a fun segment, I thought. It worked really well, where you had both baby faces sort of bantering with Miz, basically just taking shot after shot on him, which I thought was pretty funny. Miz, basically he's out for blood, so he gets sort of annoyed that they shake their hands out of respect, and he doesn't want any of that. He wants people to start slugging at each other. And Bryan says, well, you talked about, you're talking about the match that could be, why don't we talk about our match? Miz, we can talk about our match. I promise it won't take very long. It's those kind of shots. How does, so basically, they chat, they make fun of the Miz. Bryan says, Bryan says to Miz that he wants to beat a worthy opponent. He puts over AJ as a hardworking champion, that he's been defending the title. He's earned the right to believe he's better than anyone else, but deep down I know that I can defeat AJ Styles. Bryan says that, and this was a very good part of the segment. Bryan says, my dream when I came back to WWE was not to reunite Team Hell. No, it was not to fight this jerk, meaning the Miz. It was to win the WWE title, and I thought that was good. And I bet had he been allowed to do so, he would have probably said, when I came back, my dream was not to, fight a guy and try to elevate him before he got himself fired. But I guess he couldn't say that. But no, this was very cool from Bryan here, because he was basically saying what a lot of us are thinking, how he's been mismanaged since coming back to WWE. But he's like, no, look, guys, all this stuff that happened, it happened, but that's not what I came back for. I came back for the WWE title. Good. And Styles says, well, you can come for it. I'm not moving for you or for anyone. And they start, basically, it starts getting tense, and you think that they're going to start being throwing shit at each other, but no, instead they start bonding over the idea of punching Miz in the face, calling him the 2-minute man because of the match. Miz loses his cool though at this point, and then he lets the professionalism that he had promised that he'd have just fly up into the rafters. He said, he basically starts going off on Bryan, and he says, I defeated you. I beat you up twice. You beat me with a lame, suck the air out of the stadium roll up to win. And I was like, wow, because that's exactly what happened. So that was kind of fierce. And then he turns over to AJ and he says, and you're just another one of him with an annoying Southern accent. which made me laugh. And he said, the WWE title has never been less prestigious since you've had it. You want to know why it hasn't been headlining pay-per-views? Just look at yourself in the mirror. That's some, that's some hard truths that the Miz enjoys dropping once in a while on occasion, right? Wow, that was severe. That was bludgeoning, is what that was. And he says, I don't care who wins at Crown Jewel, I've got next. Those are the exact words he used. He says, I got next. He took his quarter and he put it on the top of the arcade machine. I've got next. That was brilliant. This was a fun segment. And this basically led into our next match, which was AJ Styles versus Shelton Benjamin. Shelton Benjamin, basically, we're already kind of into the action when the match starts because we come back from commercial and he's blocking a hip toss. He stays in control of AJ Styles. He gets a big back body drop on Styles, goes for a cover, only gets 2. Styles himself battles back. They trade strikes and combos, and Styles takes him down with the Pele kick. Benjamin reverses a style clash. This was nice, though. He reverses a style clash into an Alabama Slam position. From the Alabama Slam position, he puts AJ into a fireman's carry, and then into like a suplex brainbuster position. I was like, whoa, this dude's strong. No, it was really cool to see those counters. Didn't deliver into a move, but because AJ wriggled out of it. He hits a huge knee on AJ. He was setting up for the phenomenal forearm. And the entire time, by the way, Miz and Daniel Bryan are on commentary. And they're just bantering off of each other the entire while. It was really entertaining. Back from commercial, apparently AJ Styles reversed things from an electric chair drop. I guess we Canadians can only put blind faith in what commentary tells us. It's not as if we have the privilege to watch commercials, to watch P&P, picture-in-picture, during the commercials. Backwater third world country. So Styles goes after Benjamin with some forearms. He rolls Benjamin to the calf crusher, but he reaches the ropes for the break. And it all comes to a screeching halt when AJ Styles hits the phenomenal forearm for the win. Bryan stands up, gives him a standing ovation. I am looking forward to this match at Crown Jewel. I still hope, crossing my fingers, that somehow The Miz gets involved in this and that they make it a 3-way and that they save the actual Daniel Bryan and AJ Styles match for WrestleMania, because that is a WrestleMania caliber match. Should not be wasted on what is potentially going to be another greatest Royal Rumble house show. Aiden English comes to the ring. He's in the ring. But he had to go there first. So he did come to the ring. But when we see him, he's already in the ring. I'm just talking about this for clarity's sake. Aiden is in the ring and he says he's going to give us a glimpse of what happened next that one night in Milwaukee. He says he's going to give us the director's cut. So we turn to he turns to the Titantron and he says, "All right, let's give us a roll clip." Or whatever. So it starts back with the segment that we saw last week where, he's practicing his vocals and Lana comes to the door and she comes in and she says, I want you to know how much you mean to Rusev. How much you contributed and how awesome you are and everything you've done for Rusev's career and so on and so forth. It's very touching. But Aiden English tries to put the moves on Lana. He tries to put the moves on Lana, but Lana is not having any of it. She's like, oh, I believe you misconstrued. But no, wait a second. I'm getting ahead of myself. So he goes to put the moves on Lana, and we get a freeze frame again. Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm excited. I've been drinking water instead of my usual caffeine, so my my chemical levels are completely out of balance. However, hydration is important, and you cannot get better hydration than with a cold glass of fresh water. Unless you live in Flint, Michigan, don't drink the water. So, Aiden English basically says here, so we had the still frame on him putting the moves on Lana, and he says he has an offer to Rusev. Come on out, Rusev. Rusev comes out. And he says, I will destroy the video, Ruru, if you kick Lana to the curb and reunite Rusev Day. Well, Lana then comes out, and there seems to be some Rusev seems to be somewhat conflicted. He's approaching his former friend to the ring. He's looking over at his wife. But no, they were playing possum because Rusev reveals, because Lana says, you will not play, if you don't play that video, I'll play that video. And Aiden says, ha ha ha, are you going to do that? And Rusev reveals, Aiden, you've been hacked. Been hacked by who? By Lana, who figured out your password, Aiden, which is I heart Rusev, something like that. And I'm like, whoa, Lana's got some major hacking skills. She's all going all zero cool on us, going all hack the planet on us. Wow, whoa. Keep this woman away from a computer. Next thing you know, she'll be trying to crack the latest version of Maniac Mansion. Wah! You've been hacked. As if that was the only way that Lana and Rusev could play the video, right? Because he had the video there. He did the pause thing. Lana could have just called the production truck and just turned around and told the production truck, hey, production truck, play the rest of the video. Unpress pause. Because that's just what happened. They wouldn't have to hack it. I thought, it was just so over the top and dumb, it made me laugh. But it is dumb. But it still made me laugh. Wow. Lana's she's a crypto cracker. She's really something else, isn't she? Anyway, Aiden sort of throws in the towel and he says, well, you know what, Lana, if you ever get bored with those Rusev days, you can come treat yourself to an Aiden night. There's a lot of innuendo, a lot of wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Man. Anyway, Rusev didn't like that and he chases Rusev away. This is leading to a fight at some point. Don't know how long they can stretch this out at this point now that we've solved the Milwaukee mystery. We'll see what happens. Final match of the night is The Big Show versus Randy Orton. Say what you will about Show. We can be as cagey and snarky as we want. It still turns out that Show has a 30-plus year career at this point. Could it be? Maybe not plus, maybe just around 30. And I mean, this guy has seen pretty much everything. Has it been 30 years? It has to be close. I think he started like really in the late 80s. I'd have to check that. Well, let's take a look together, folks. We have some time. We'll head on to Wikipedia, and we will look for a gentleman named Big Show, or maybe Paul White. Oh, he has an entry. His entry is actually called Big Show. Paul Donald White. And he started his career, well, in 1995. See, I thought, or at least in World Championship Wrestling. And let's see, his early career, when was his debut, though? White's first professional wrestling match was on December 3rd for the World Wrestling Association in Clementon, New Jersey, where he lost by countout to WWE heavyweight champion Frank Finnegan. There you go. There's a name that went down in the annals of history. Frank Finnegan. This was his one and only match prior to being signed with WCW. That's interesting, though. That's really interesting. He paid Larry Sharp's Monster Factory $5,000, but due to Sharp's gout at the time, he was only minimally trained. Johnny Polo taught him the collar and elbow lockup. That's all he learned for $5,000. He learned that from Raven. While there, he made an audition tape and gave it to Mike Chioda, whom he had met in a Philadelphia bar. Chioda forwarded it to Pat Patterson, who did not bother watching it because he assumed White was another wrestler. He thought he was Kurgan. What? Only when he saw the Giant debut in WCW did Patterson realize his mistake, to Vince McMahon's displeasure. Oh, what a great story. That's fantastic. I'm glad I looked that up. So no, not exactly 30 years, but sure damn close. I love me Big Show. He's looking good. We've seen all the workout videos and his progression, the weight he's dropped. It's not just a question of dropping weight this time. He's buff, man. He looks good. He looks fantastic. So it's still a blessing. We're blessed to have Big Show still with us and hanging around and still competing. Even though it's a bit of a smoke and mirrors match. At least a wee bit, at least at first. Show gets a big punch in, but Orton sells it and then he rolls to the outside to stall, and then we go to commercial. Like the match just friggin' started and we're going to commercial. I'm like, oh my God. And no, we don't see what happened back from commercial. Apparently Big Show's been crushing Orton. He gets back in control and starts kicking. Orton gets back in control and starts kicking Show's leg, stomping his fingers. He gets him in a headlock, but Show battles out, side suplexes Orton. Shoulder blocks Randy down, who rolls out of the ring. Show goes after him, gets him back in the ring. Then Orton drop kicks Big Show as he gets back in. And Orton, not Orton, but Show was still in the ropes. And Orton does the draping DDT on Big Show, which is... it's a pretty cool visual, let's be honest. Orton teases the fucking punt. But Show counters by hitting a... Well, it wasn't quite a spear. We'll call it a spear-loo. How about that? He hits a spear-loo. And despite the fact that the spear didn't look that good, the audience chants, "You still got it." And you have to know that made Show feel really, really good. Because everything you hear about the guy is that he's so nice and he's a big softy. He really must have liked it. He drags Orton back into the ring and he choke slams him, covers for 2.9. That was another slim one. Orton kicks out. Show goes for the WMD punch, which again is dumb. Punches are not finishers. But Orton rolls out of the ring again, so avoids that. Orton gets back in, and with a finger to the eye and an RKO, he scores the pin on Le Big Show. And that is the end of SmackDown Live. Randy Orton is going to be in the World Cup of WWE Wrestling to determine who is the best in the world as long as they're in WWE. There you have it. I thought this was a fine show. I didn't have any problem with it. I thought there was a lot of wrestling. Not only did I think it's a quantifiable, verifiable fact that there was a lot of wrestling on the show. I'm super psyched with what they're doing with Becky and Charlotte. I think it's going, despite them still trying to make us cheer for Charlotte, or at least boo Becky. This is still a fantastic feud, probably one of the better developed feuds in the entire company right now. I just don't know what they're doing with Samoa Joe. I'm still bemused by that. Looking forward to Daniel Bryan and AJ Styles. This is a good show. Set up a lot of cool things, and I'm looking forward to the rest. So, we've reached the end of the video. This is where I take the time to sign off. Take the time to remind you to head on over to tinyurl.com/Mr. Warren Hayes if you're not already there, and subscribe. You know, the subscription thing is, as the minute you start doing YouTube videos, you realize how important the subscription thing is to help promote your videos, help YouTube understand that your videos are worthy of being promoted. So if you find it in the kindness of your heart to just subscribe, that'd be nice. You can also thumbs up this video if you like this video. That would also be nice. You can thumbs down this video if you didn't like it. I'm not expecting you to like everything I do. I don't expect everyone to like me or what I do. That's fine. It's your right to press the thumbs down button. But thank you very much for hanging out to the very end. You can also follow me on Twitter at Mr. Warren Hayes. That's also a possibility. And let me know, as I told you earlier in the show today, let me know if you feel that you'd like to join me live as I do these things in a live chat where we could discuss. We could create some kind of dynamic here, because that's what I'll be doing from this point forward. I will be recording these live via streaming, so I'm figuring maybe I should just open the floodgates and see what happens. So let me know. Comment here, Twitter, Mr. Warren Hayes. But the most important thing is that you understand how much I appreciate all of you for hanging out to the very end of this video here. And you know what? I'll see you next time.